You know, temperatures today actually a little bit below normal, but you can't tell because dew points are moving on up to the east side and all around the area. 83, warm and humid with an isolated thunderstorm. We're seeing some activity out there. I mean, we're not going to see wall-to-wall wet this afternoon, but don't be surprised. And even tonight, 75 could see an isolated thunderstorm. It's very humid. Ugh. You're going to feel it tonight into tomorrow. And then tomorrow we get the atmosphere ready for another first alert weather day. 88, tropical feel. Yeah, more clouds than sun and more coverage with those scattered showers and thunderstorms. And then there's another round on Friday. Friday could be challenging, and I know it's a getaway Friday if you're going off out to the island. Check. You might want to leave a little bit earlier on Friday. First part of the weekend, a slightly better chance for an isolated storm. Feeling the heat right into the first part of next week.
It's a potential hazard lurking beneath every New Yorker. A CBS News New York investigation found New York City is on pace for the most manhole fires in 11 years. And as investigative reporter Tim McNicholas found, the fires can have serious consequences.
The broken windows, the smoke rising from the ground, the open hole on Broadway near West 3rd Street. This is the aftermath of the scariest moment of Parker Voss's life.
Right here.
He says he was standing about 10 feet away when an underground explosion around 7:30 the morning of July 9th launched these metal covers into the air.
I was told by a worker on the street that had it happened any later in the day, somebody surely would have died.
Security video from a business on Broadway shows the covers nearly did hit two other people walking by. Medical records show doctors prescribed Voss medication later that day after he complained of hearing loss, ear pain, and imbalance. The FDNY and Con Ed responded to the scene, and workers eventually covered the manhole back up.
Sounding like a building had collapsed almost.
How has this affected you emotionally?
Bit shaky. So anyway, I have a kind of a hyper alertness. I shake now.
New York City Open data shows it's one of more than 4,000 reports of fire, smoke, or explosions in manholes that the FDNY responded to so far this year. Back in 2023, firefighters responded to just 1,300 all year, a number that climbed to 2,800 in 2024, then 4,400 in 2025. That's a 200% increase over the last few years, and this year is on pace for the most manhole fires or smoking manholes in the city since 2015.
It is truly horrific for New Yorkers to wake up to stories about exploding manhole covers. Far, far more horrific for the victims and the families of the victims who have suffered severe injuries and in some cases death.
A manhole explosion in 2022 in Times Square sent New Yorkers scrambling in fear. In 2015, a manhole cover in Brooklyn landed on a man's head and seriously injured him. And in February of this year, two kids suffered minor burns from a manhole explosion in Tribeca.
I have proposed in the past greater fines for Con Edison on a per incidence basis, because part of the problem is that they face no music if something like this happens.
Is there maybe anybody from executive leadership who'd be able to talk to us about all the manhole fires that have been happening?
Con Ed, which owns not all, but most of the electrical manholes in New York City, would not agree to an interview.
Maybe they can reach out to someone in public affairs or corporate affairs.
You know, we tried that. We asked for an interview with them, and they would not agree to it.
Oh, okay. Oh, God.
A company spokesperson emailed us saying safety is our priority and saying fewer than 1% of its 268,000 manholes are involved in an emergency response each year. Con Ed says most of those responses are for smoking manholes where there are no flames.
Well, it seems like it's getting more and more frequent. Part of that is probably the aging infrastructure, but there needs to be a solution.
Con Ed says the July 9th explosion was likely related to the hot weather, as recent heat waves increased demand for power. The company says it's been using stronger cables, thermal cameras, and graded covers to try to prevent fires, and special latches on 3,300 manhole covers to keep them from flying off. That means the vast majority of Con Ed's manholes don't have those latches. And the company would not tell us whether any of those tools were in place here on Broadway.
I just don't feel quite normal. I'm off. I'm not having normal thoughts, so I can't always still figuring this out.
Tim McNicholas, CBS News, New York.
Con Ed says the top cause of manhole fires is the salt used to treat snow, which corrodes electrical wires, and the city spread 1 billion pounds of it last winter to fight the worst snow and cold since 2015, which is the last year there were this many manhole fires.
This is CBS News, New York.
This is breaking news.
I'm Lisa Rosner at a massive fire in the Norwood section of the Bronx. We're on East 209th Street near Decatur Avenue, where you can see fire crews are working very hard to contain this blaze. Police sources tell CBS News New York a lithium-ion battery is suspected to have been involved, possibly from an e-bike. An official determination will be made later by authorities. The Office of Emergency Management says to expect smoke and delays in the area. They're also advising residents who live in this area to close their windows. We are waiting to hear more from the fdny on how this happened and the latest in terms of injuries and their efforts to contain the fire. In the Norwood section of the Bronx, Lisa Rosner, CBS News, New York.
Well, we're going to be sweating to the oldies over the next few days. You've